The Jaguars have a bunch of question marks on their offensive line. I recently did a video talking about them, and they were the third biggest need for the Jaguars going into this 2023 offseason. I'm going to be breaking all those question marks down right here, so be sure to subscribe to the Fan Cave if you do enjoy the content. Without further ado, let's jump into it. Starting us off with the left tackle position, Cam Robinson. He's one of the elder statesmen of this Jacksonville Jaguar team at this point in his career. He's coming off of his second knee surgery. He's had one in each knee. He had one back in 2018 to repair his ACL. This year, in 2022, he did tear his meniscus in the Cowboys game. Ultimately, he is one of the more expensive Jaguars. I believe he has a top 3 cap hit going into 2023. Do you look at a team like the Bengals? Do you look at a team like the Bears? Two teams that have a bunch of cap space and could potentially be in the market for some great offensive line help. Ultimately, you're probably not going to get much in return if you decide to move Cam Robinson, but if Cam Robinson does stay at the left tackle position, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a guy that is a very consistent offensive lineman who has just that nasty mean streak that you kind of look for in an offensive lineman. He's developed that over his career. But if you do trade him, Spot Track estimates you'll save about $12 million on the cap when you're at a team that's looking at over $30 million in the hole. Is that a spot where you can find some good, significant cap relief? That's a great question. I'm very interested to see what Trent Baalke does with the left tackle position, because you also have Walker Little. Walker Little played in lieu of Cam Robinson when he went down with the injury, and he played well, if I might add. He was a very good left tackle going down towards the end of the season and into the playoffs. So I'm very excited to see what happens with this. And I'm very excited to see what happens with Walker Little. Walker Little, we're going to talk about a ton in this video. We're going to talk about it with both tackle spots. But let's talk about the left guard spot. Let's kick a little bit inside. Ben Bartch started the season for the Jaguars, ultimately got hurt a couple weeks into the season, and then Tyler Shalley takes over. Ultimately, Tyler Shalley played very, very well. He is the veteran backup. He is, the sixth man on the offensive line, if you will, if you don't consider Walker Little. They might vie for that sixth man spot. But ultimately, Tyler Shalley played very well, but if you had to pick a position that you really wanted to upgrade and you had to circle and say this is the upgradable spot, it is easily the left guard. You have a guy in Ben Bartch who's going into his 4th year. You have Tyler Shalley who's going into his 10th year. It's just, you're either going to play the old elder statesman veteran, or you're going to play the guy that is just, you know what you have in Ben Bartch. Maybe he develops a little bit more, but unfortunately with the injury, we didn't get to see him through the whole of 2022. Do you look at a guy maybe Osiris Torrance, in the first round of the draft, really beef up that offensive line? Do you look at some other spots, maybe Steve Avila out of TCU? There's a lot of different options for the guard spot, and it's that position really does have a bunch of question marks for me. It's a very weird position. I have no idea what is going on. If you gave me $100 to put money down on who the Jaguars left guard will be, I feel like that is one of the worst spots that you can pick. I have better odds, I feel like, picking the right tackle than I do the left guard position. But let's talk about the center position. Luke Fortner had a very good rookie campaign. I've seen a couple different articles touting him as the best Jaguars rookie in 2022. Brandon Sheriff had he was gushing about him whenever John Shipley asked him about him, saying that he's one of the smartest rookies he's ever played with. That's from John Shipley. That is just an incredible testament. You're looking at one of the best interior offensive linemen of Brandon Sheriff gushing and giving incredible kudos to Luke Fortner. I'm very excited to see what a second year of playing football looks like for Luke Fortner. Now, speaking of Brandon Sheriff, let's talk about him. Obviously, this is just like the center position for me. There's no real way this position gets talked about. Brandon Sheriff's new to the team, and he had an incredible 2022. Ultimately, you look at what happens with guys like this. It happened a lot with Andrew Norwell as well, where you really didn't notice him unless it was a very big mistake, but then you don't really notice a lot of just the very good work he's putting down in the trenches. This was a great year for Brandon Sheriff. It was a very healthy year for Brandon Sheriff. That was a very good sign to see after he was coming off a couple of years where he was struggling to have a full year of health. But like Luke Fortner, no real question marks about Brandon Sheriff. Now, probably the moment you've all been waiting for, let's talk about the right tackle position. This has been a very highly contested spot between Jaguar fans on Twitter and my comment section on the Facebook pages. Everywhere you can look, people are talking about the right tackle spot. Jawaan Taylor is due for a contract, and like I talked about with the Bears, with the Bengals, two teams that are looking to be a contender potentially in 2023 with a bunch of money to spend, especially the Bengals. They're looking to be a contender. They're making playoff pushes. Do they look at Jawaan Taylor, somebody that has a ton of experience, to be that answer? Ultimately, if I'm the Jaguars, I'm making an offer. Obviously, you have to make an offer, but at the end of the day, I don't see why Jawaan Taylor doesn't go, nah, man, unless you're going to franchise tag me, I'm checking out free agency. There's some very needy teams out there for the tackle position, and they have a lot of money to spend, a whole hell of a lot more than you do. So I'm going to go see what they're willing to give me. I'm one of the best young tackles on the market. Let's see how things shake out. And then you have Walker Little. Walker Little mainly is a left tackle. He's a left tackle by trade, but he did get a lot of work in this offseason, this training camp, in a battle with Jawaan Taylor. He's had a lot of experience training in that position throughout the offseason. Does he get that opportunity once more? Do you maybe look at it, a tackle potentially in the offseason, maybe in the draft? Do you look at kind of a replacement, how Walker Little, how that situation went? You look at Walker Little in 2021, they had Jawaan Taylor, they had Cam Robinson, and they take Walker Little in the second round. Walker Little has been an incredible asset to be that swing tackle for this team because he is so talented, because he is so experienced. And whenever you do have a tackle go down, you can plug him in. And for the most part, you understand that he is going to be serviceable. You're getting serviceable tackle play. Do the Jaguars look to do that again? Do they say, hey, thanks for your services, Jawaan, we've got Walker, we're going to play him at the right tackle spot now, and then you go out and you get a left tackle, or just kind of a swing tackle in that late second round, third round kind of spot. Two guys I wanted to talk about. Darnell Wright at the University of Tennessee has almost 1,400 pass blocking snaps. That's just you look at that Tennessee offense last year. They were slinging it all over the place. Hendon Hooker looked like a Heisman candidate while he was playing behind that offensive line. Huge testament to that offensive line. And then I looked at another guy, Matthew Bergeron, almost 2,500 total snaps at either tackle spot. You look at him and go, this guy has a lot of experience. We can kind of do something with this. We can work with that. I truly think that's the route they're going to go. They're probably going to pick up a tackle, and that maybe if I'm them, I'm looking at the second round. I know it might be a little early for a lot of people, but I'm looking at tackle in the second round. If it's available, if there's some great value there, I'm 100% taking another tackle. If Jawaan Taylor leaves the team, I want to ask you guys, what does your starting five offensive linemen look like going into 2023? I threw out a lot of names. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys keep Jawaan Taylor? Do you guys keep Cam Robinson? Where do you play Walker Little? Who starts at left guard? Let me know down in the comment section below. I love interacting with you guys. I try to respond to every single comment that I get. I would love to hear from you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to the Fan Cave if you enjoyed the content. Stay safe and go Jaguars.
You can't have a newcomer come in and steal the show.